Things Podcast. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things Podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I'm your host, Dave, and it's been a long day. I've been up for 21 hours as of right now, because I got up this morning, I worked a full day shift, 12 hours, or I guess technically 11 and a half hours, because my relief was kind enough to come in a little bit early, about half an hour early, and let me go because I was driving. You have to excuse me. I have to hydrate. I will be doing it a few times during this introduction. I was driving directly from work to the Fox Theater, the fabulous Fox downtown, which I don't work anywhere near the fabulous Fox downtown. When I looked it up on Google Maps, my approximate drive time, if I left at 5 p.m., was 1 hour and 6 minutes to 2 hours. Obviously, it's variable because of Atlanta traffic, but whatever the case, it was going to be a nightmare to get down there. One of the recommendations was I drive to a MARTA station, and then I take MARTA the rest of the way down there. But the thought of leaving the venue after the show, getting on a train, going back to a MARTA station, getting in my car, then driving home, as opposed to just walking outside and driving home, I chose to drive all the way down there. It was not bad because, like I said, I had great relief that came in half an hour early for me. I got to leave early. So leaving the parking lot at work at like 4:38, 4:40, arrived in the vicinity of the Fox at 5:45-ish. So just over an hour to get down there. Pretty incredible. But I could literally see the traffic forming as I was driving down 400 to get downtown. So I did very well. I ate at a place called Bear Burger that was fantastic. That's B-A-R-E Burger, not to be confused with our pal Bear from Bean and Bear. It's across the street from the Fox. It's very, very good. I highly recommend it. The service was incredible. The food was really good. And they had a plum beer that I thoroughly enjoyed. But the show that I was going to see was Nine Inch Nails, who remain one of the best live bands I've ever seen, and have the most intensive production I've ever seen for a live rock band. And opening for them were a sort of, not techno, that's not the right word, but like programmed music group called Tobacco that was very good. And then the Jesus and Mary Chain, who I've seen before, but could not differentiate in any significant way from Jesus Lizard, Dinosaur Jr., or any other sort of 90s type alterna rock acts that, in my head, this is just to me, are somewhat generic in a 90s alternative way. Now, I have been corrected by our pal Noah Holt, who was on an older episode of the Needless Things Podcast that you can find if you go to Podbean and look for Needless Things Podcast. Noah pointed out that the Jesus and Mary Chain's heyday was 1984 to 1989, and that they were sort of dwindling in the 90s. But the 90s is when I saw them, because they were on one of the Lollapalooza tours, and I saw them on some other thing too. It might have been like 99X's Big Day Out. I'm not sure. I had seen them before. I didn't really know who they were though. And then seeing them tonight. Let's go back to the show, because I know you guys. Look, I understand you're here for the Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's fine. We're going to get to Nature Boy Ric Flair. Just give me a few minutes to get this out of my system, this exciting event that I've just experienced. And also I need to get out of my system that you need to go to themysterymenofsurf.com, check out their new album, Firewalkers. It's freaking amazing. Those are the gentlemen that provide the interstitial music for the show that you've been listening to for 5 years now? I think 5 years. Woof. But anyway, mysterymenofsurf.com. They're lovely. They're awesome. Go check them out. And also, next week, Halloween starts. It's great. It's good. We're going to have spooky fun. So back to my story. Got down to the venue, ate my meal, went into the Fox, no problem at all. I really like the Fox as a venue in general. It's classy. It's nice. Everybody there is very professional. I haven't, in the 2 times I've been there this year, everything's just been very easy to get around, not overly crowded. It's a good venue. It sounds good. It looks good. It's nice to be in for the most part, and I'll get to that. So I get into the Fox, no problem at all. I go and buy, apparently this is a new thing that bands do. And look, I'm going to keep this brief. I could go on for an hour just about this show, but I'm not gonna, because I understand you're here for, Ric Flair, and that's fine. Apparently, the cool new thing for bands to do is release date-specific items. Mastodon had shirts for their last show. Every time I've seen them, they've had event-specific posters, which I guess is nothing new. That's gone on for a while, but I guess the shirts are kind of a new thing, maybe. So I look at the Nine Inch Nails merch because I have never owned... No, I take that back. I had a Downward Spiral shirt that I got free when I worked at Hot Topic, but I never really liked it that much because I don't care for that album cover, and that's all it was. But anyway, I wanted some Nine Inch Nails stuff. I figured it was going to be ridiculously expensive. It wasn't by any stretch. It was very reasonable live show merch prices. So they had an exclusive shirt for November 27th in Atlanta, Georgia, with Trent Reznor's hand in the pointer state, pointing up, very close up of that. Not the best design, but whatever. And then on the back, the Nine Inch Nails logo with November 27th, 2018, Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm a sucker for exclusive items, and it doesn't get a whole lot more exclusive than you have to be at the show to buy the shirt. And they also had an event poster that's badass. I don't know who did the art. I'm going to find out. But it's this giant, like, really menacing haunted house looking, mostly black and like sepia tone print, and it's a very, very nice print with like audio components on the front. I'll put up a picture on my Instagram. You can follow me as Phantom Troublemaker on Instagram, or Dave West on Facebook. But it's this beautiful print, and they were both very reasonably priced. And then they also had enamel pens, super reasonably priced, like cheaper than most enamel pens that I buy. So I bought a bunch of stuff. They had cardboard tubes there to put it all in. So I've got a cardboard tube to protect my new merch. I go to my seat. I sit down next to this guy who I'm going to call Nails, because he's seen Nine Inch Nails 24 times, which is 20 times more than I have now seen them, and refers to them only as Nails. He's on a last name basis with an entire band. He just calls them Nails every time he refers to them, and he refers to them often. But he's a very, very nice guy, really sweet guy. He's drunk as shit. He smells terrible. Smells like alcohol. Alcohol smell terrible, not like body odor or anything like that. Thank goodness. I didn't deal with any of that tonight. But he reeks of booze. But very talky, very friendly. Nice guy. Gave me the inside scoop on a couple of things I actually didn't know, so that was neat. And everybody in our section was cool. Nobody made me angry. There's a little Inuit girl in front of me that was standing on her chair the whole time, but even standing in her chair, she only came up to like my shoulder, so she wasn't obstructing my view or anything. The only problem was she kept leaning back. I still can't figure out how she was leaning so far back without falling back into our aisle, but she had a different interpretive dance for every song Nine Inch Nails performed. It was incredible. It's great. And again, if you're on my Instagram, it's in my stories right now. It may be gone by the time you listen to this, and I apologize for that. But you know what? It was the magic of the moment. If you weren't there, you don't get to see the amazing interpretive Inuit girl. So the problem I had with the Fox this time, I had a pretty good seat. It was to the right. I thought I was more in the center. I guess I wasn't. But underneath my seat, there's this giant metal thing that looks like a ring bell from like ringside at a wrestling match. It's a good 16 inches in diameter. It takes up the entire space under the seat. And this is a problem because everybody at the Nine Inch Nails show is a dum-dum. Because we have paid to go to this show. We paid for a seat. If everybody sits the fuck down, we can all see and enjoy the show from the comfort of a seat. Instead, all of these dum-dums have to stand up for some reason to watch the show the whole frickin' time. So, everybody around me who paid the same amount of money I did for their seat has all this space when the seat folds up to stand in between the armrests. I do not have this space because I have this giant fucking cylinder disc thing under my seat. And the what do I want to call them? Beans now. Nails told me it's some kind of heating unit because the Fox was built 8,000 years ago or whatever, so they've got all these primitive ways to keep it warm or cooler or whatever. Unfortunately, it was not on. I would have had to leave. But it is some kind, according to Nails, who seems very knowledgeable. I don't doubt this guy. It's some kind of heating unit. So I have to stand awkwardly, and they played... I would say they played over 2 hours, or at least 2 hours. It was a solid show. So I had to stand awkwardly, almost kind of pigeon-toed around this thing with my bad back for the whole show. I was not pleased about that. I even considered going to management and being like, look, I don't think it's right that I paid the same amount of money for this crap spot that everybody else around me paid, and they got to be comfortable and stand up and enjoy the show, and I had to stand on top of your fucking bell pot heater, primitive-ass Victorian bullshit. But I didn't, because I was just, once he started playing Hurt, it was time to go, because I've seen that live as many times as I need to, and I know that's the last song he plays every time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get in the car and get the fuck out of here. But the rest of the set, well, first of all, let me go back to Tobacco. Tobacco was very cool, very interesting. I recommend you check them out if you're into sort of mixed electronic music type stuff. Sort of, not quite avant-garde, but interesting to listen to. I'll check them out. And then Jesus and Mary Chain, very, very good at what they do. Like I said, our pal Noah Holt is a huge fan. He said they're his favorite band. They're great. They're great live. I did not have a problem watching them as an opening band. I don't know that they even played for 45 minutes. I'm not sure Tobacco even played for 30 minutes. Jesus and Mary Chain, maybe 45 minutes, but really tight set, really good. They played like 2 songs that I knew. They do the I wanna die like Jesus Christ, I wanna die like JFK. They're those guys. You've heard that song. You may not recognize it from my poor rendition of it, but you've heard that song if you were alive in the 90s. And I don't know, it's not a 90s song, I guess, according to Noah. But they're good. They're good. They're really, really good live. I don't want their albums, and if I wouldn't make a point of seeing them again, but I would not be upset if they opened for another band that I was going to see. And then Nine Inch Nails came on. Absolutely fantastic, incredible. Their lighting, the best show I've ever seen in my life was Nine Inch Nails when they played with Soundgarden a few years ago. Me and the missus went and saw them, and I've never seen anything like it. I've talked about it on the show before. I'm not going to get into it again here, but it was phenomenal, mind-blowing entertainment experience. I did not expect this show to be as good. I don't expect any show to ever be as good. I will be shocked if I ever see anything better than that. But this show was still amazing and mind-blowing. Every song had a different lighting setup, and I don't mean they flashed different colored lights or different types of pens. They literally moved light rigs around for every song, set up different complicated lighting schemes. It was incredible. It was absolutely amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The set list was great. I'm sure it's up on setlist.fm by now, and almost 2 hours after the show ended. And I had a blast. I don't think they play Ring Finger ever, which is my actual favorite song. I put up a video of Copy of a Copy saying that was my favorite song, and I love it. I love that. I love Only. I love Down in It. I love Wish. I could list all the Nine Inch Nails songs that I love, and I'm not going to do it because, again, you're here for Ric Flair. But this show was amazing. I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity, you go see Nine Inch Nails. Even if now, if you hate them, obviously don't go see them. But if you're even like, oh yeah, I remember all those songs from the '90s; those were pretty good. You should really experience this band live. It's fantastic. I'm on a big time music, entertainment, energy high right now, as I'm sure you can tell. So I'm going to stop. That's enough intro. I'm going to say one more time, go visit themysterymenofsurf.com. Check out their new album, Firewalkers. And now it is time for the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, live from Dragon Con 2018.
How's everybody doing this Sunday afternoon? I'm Dave West, the host of the Needless Things podcast, but you're not here to see me, are you? You are here to see in Dragon Con. You're going to have to give it up big time because getting ready to enter this stage is the 16-time world champion WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair! Thank you.
That was nice, thank you.
We look like Christmas.
Huh?
We look like Christmas.
Man. Atlanta Red, man, Falcons.
We're going to be doing some Q&A today. So if you have a question for the Nature Boy, you can line up at this microphone in the center front right here. While you're doing that, I'd like to share a little story about a conversation that I had with Ric Flair 14 years ago. I was at Monday Night Raw in the front row. It's 2004, March 1st. I'll never forget it. And there was a big tag team match between Evolution, Randy Orton and Batista, who at the time were making their way to being some of the biggest superstars in the business, and Shawn Michaels and Chris Benoit. It was an incredible match. The heat was huge. You guys remember how big Evolution was. I mean, they were the unstoppable force at the time. Nobody could get over on them. At the end of the show, poor old Mick Foley comes out. 3-on-1 in the ring. Ric Flair, Batista, Randy Orton, picking on poor little old Mick Foley. But Mick Foley calls out his pal, The Rock. Rock comes out, clears the ring, and this gentleman right here gets thrown into the ring barrier right in front of me. Now, I'm a good wrestling fan. It doesn't matter how much I love you. If you're a bad guy, I'm going to boo you. I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to say terrible, terrible things to you. And apparently, Ric Flair had heard some of those terrible things. So you got thrown into that barrier. I yelled something not very nice, and you turned around. Your sweat hit me right in the face. And you said, "Hey, friend," only you didn't say friend. "I'm going to make your wife sandwiches all night long." Only you didn't say make your wife sandwiches. And that is one of the greatest wrestling memories I have. And thank you for that.
Oh, what a good time in life, right?
To warm up just a little bit, do you want to spend a few minutes discussing what it's been like watching your little girl become one of the most important superstars in the WWE right now?
I knew that she'd be good just based on athletic ability, but she's taken it to a whole different level, and her commitment, commitment to excellence, we used to say that, but the same would apply to her commitment to the job and to work and to what she does, to maintain that level that you have to work hard to be at in our business. And she's done it all in a short period of time. It'll be 6 years this year. So, most of the girls have been at it, the girls that started out of high school, 10 years already. So I'm really proud of her, more than you'll ever know. Probably her skills are second to none. I just can't say enough good about her without bragging too much, but I feel that's a dad's privilege. It's
right.
In that position, so she's just been fabulous. Couldn't be prouder of her.
All right, and with that, we will take our first question. What you got, sir?
Hey, Rich. So actually this morning I was watching the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. Yes. I watched it when it first aired back in November and watched it again today to prepare myself for this. But I was wondering what your general thoughts were on that documentary, and if you were the director, did you think it was an accurate portrayal of your career overall, your life overall? And if you're the director, would there be anything you would have changed about that documentary?
Well, there was so much footage you have to decide that it's all by editing. They had enough footage to make 2 of them, and then they may make another one yet, just like 2, because that one people enjoyed so much. You leave yourself open to the good and the bad when something like that comes along, because it reveals you for what you've been, who you are, what you're currently at, what the good times and the bad times in your life, and you never know what someone's going to say. So, there's a couple people I wish could have been on it. They never could get hooked up with Steve Austin, because Steve was going back and forth between his ranch in San Antonio and LA, and they couldn't get hooked up with Charles Barkley, who's a good friend of mine. So, because I think the people outside the sport that comment, like Snoop Dogg and Marty Smith from ESPN, and they bring as much to the show as the components do, as the parts brought to you from the wrestler. So, yeah, I was happy with it. It makes you think, about the way you ran your life and what you did right and what went wrong. But I don't know in terms of the 70s and 80s with my schedule, even up in the mid-90s with my schedule, what I could have done differently in terms of, having time off. It didn't exist. Being home, it didn't exist in the 70s, 80s, for sure. 90s, it started to become, you could get a day off here and there. But in my position, it was tough even to get a day off in the 90s. That's when I was older. So if you're on top of this business, you're not only working at the job in terms of wrestling, but they had you doing so much media and PR that you don't get paid for. It's just expected at your level. So, and my daughter's experienced that, and now she's been gone 17 days from home. And she's been gone longer than that, but it's like you have to figure out, do I want to do this? Because as much as you work, you put into the business on the side with appearances and PR and announcing new shows, the when tickets go on sale for SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, they always have a lot of the talent there, and they don't get paid for that. That's part of the description of their job. So, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I had so much fun at night. It wasn't like going to work for me during the day. So, and this town treated me good. A lot of fun in Atlanta, boys. This town put me in the hospital last year. Damn that daytime drinking. Why wait till 5 when you can start at 11 a.m.? The hell?
I'm really honored to be in this room with you.
What's that?
I'm honored to be in this room with you, but I'm going to tell you that we named our horse after you.
I can't hear you.
We named our horse after you.
Just step
We
back.
can't hear you from up here.
Just step back from it a little bit. Okay.
Oh, her horse is named
We
after
named
you.
our horse after you.
Oh, that's a good choice. I knew a girl who used to call me secretary back in the 80s. That's right. That deserves a round of applause.
Yes, ma'am. Please step up to the mic. You can move it down.
My name is Ella Bridges, and I go to Mixed County Middle School, and here's my question. Since you are a role model, what is some encouragement you can give to us young people?
What was the question?
Since you are a role model, what is some encouragement you can give to us young people?
If I'm a role model, what is it important to impress on people?
Since you are a role model, what is some encouragement you can give to us young people?
Since you are a role model.
Oh, well, I'm honored that you call me a role model. I didn't use I think I'm doing a fairly good job now, but I certainly, in my youth, was not a role model. I was a role model for work ethic and for being on time, and which a lot of people don't give anybody credit for, but time management in life and business is crucial. In terms of work ethic and that I was, but in terms of, I'm really not anyone to give any advice on marriage, honestly. But I think one thing that I didn't like about the 30 for 30, since you bring it up, is I spent a lot of time with my younger kids, meaning Charlotte and her brother Reed, because every time WCW got mad and fired me, I went home and I just spent time with them. And so I was able to participate in their sports and stuff like that. So, but as far as being a role model, I just think it's important for parents to set the example now that they want their children to follow, because you can't get away from social media. You can't do something as a father or mother that is wrong and escape the reality of being, talked about or seen or something being made big of it. So, I would have had a very difficult time with social media in the 80s. I would have been a hit on TMZ back then. I've been a hit a few times since, but it was just innocent, having fun. So, never been involved with drugs, never domestic violence or anything, but you just have to, as a parent, you have to pretty much walk the line and conduct yourself in a manner that you want your children to, because it's easy with all the outside influences for children to drift off. I mean, I never imagined my son being on drugs. Like Hunter said, I lied to myself, but I couldn't believe it. heard that and found out, I was just in shock because he worked out so hard and was such a great athlete and put in all that time to be good at what he was doing, but his social habits got the best of him. And so, if I'm going to blame myself for being responsible for that, it's in the fact that I couldn't, there's an expression with adults and problematic children where you're supposed to kick them to the curb. You've all heard that expression, right? If a kid's having a tough time, you got to kick him to the curb. He's got to grow up and learn on himself, learn by himself. And I just couldn't do that. I could get mad at him for about 5 minutes, and then I wanted to know where he was because there were times when he would leave his mom and I couldn't find him for 5 days. And then we tracked him down. The first sign was his phone wouldn't work. Number 2, we couldn't find out where he was. And then it was the same thing all the time. And the one thing I will say is if you experience something like we did with Reed as a family, a marriage very rarely can survive something like that. You lose a child, and it's on your watch. Would be like he was with me, so he died on my watch. So the blame falls on my shoulders, right? Even though he wasn't doing anything, he was with me. So I accept the responsibility. I should have been there with him, but I was with him all day long, except for an hour when he got out. And that was it. So it's a lot for parents. You have to put a lot of thought into it. If you feel like your kids have any tendencies that are abnormal, or they have a desire to get high, it all starts with the weed, trust me. And then we'll say, well, it's just weed. Yeah, then it's cocaine. Then it's Diane, then it's ecstasy, then it's Xanax. And then, it's heroin. But they all say the same with it. It's why I can't even fathom. Because I've never smoked in my life. I can't fathom them making marijuana legal. Because if it's legal at 18, you know that a 12-year-old should be smoking it. Christ, I was buying beer when I was 15 years old in a liquor store. So go back 50 years, 54 years. Imagine me buying liquor back then. So the 18-year-olds are buying weed. You don't think the 12-year-olds are going to get it? And it impairs you. It does. I've wrestled guys that have smoked a joint now for the match, and their balance is off, their judgment is off, their timing's off. It's a whole different thought process when you're high in weed. And people say, oh, I smoke weed, I don't get high. Bullshit. I'll say bullshit to that all day long. So you can walk out of here to go roll a joint with me, and you don't move in front of me. And now for those role model questions.
Just speak straight into the mic and
the boys want to
project.
Ric Flair, it's an honor to meet you. After setting the gold standard for trilogies of matches with Steamboat back in the 80s, probably arguably only contested with Rock's Stone Cold back in the 90s. Are there any performers that you think right now could level that rivalry probably in the next 5-10 years? And second, who's got the best work punch you've ever felt?
First part was, do I see a rivalry that could rival me and Steamboat in terms of work rate in the ring? No. It's tough to go an hour every night. They'll have an Iron Man match on TV once in a while that goes 30, 35, 40 minutes. Try doing that every night of the week. 60 minutes. And we had the same match every night. Steamboat was an incredible talent, incredible man, and a gifted athlete. What would you say about Stone Cold?
Oh, that was just probably the first question. Who's got the best working punch?
When you guys ask the question, stay a little bit farther away from the mic. I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Who's got the best working punch that you felt?
The best working punch that I felt?
Yeah.
Who's got the best working punch?
You don't feel the
Yeah, 20 years ago, I'd have knocked you off for even asking me that. The best working punch right now in the business would belong to Hunter. Yeah. He's a hand and a half man. He's pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Working punch. I'll working punch you when we get out of here. Yes, ask her. Don't even bend over. Ask her right there.
Well, I don't have to keep betting.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So, because we've had so many years in wrestling, and I know, we could ask you questions about matches all day long, but what I wanted to know is what's a what the hell moment that happened in the back room that comes to mind when you think about all these years and the time you spent with the wrestlers back there? From your experience, what's that one moment that comes to mind that's like, what the hell, to something that happened to you or to anybody else while you were in the room?
What the hell? You want to know a story where someone got their ass kicked back in a long time? Oh, I got lots of those. I guess the best would be, this goes back a long time ago, like 1978, 79, and Barry Windham was breaking in. You know who that is? You know who his dad is? Yeah. Who's his dad?
Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah. So it's Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham in their first match in the Norfolk Scope, right? And Jack thought that the Hendersons were taking advantage of Barry, and Jack just stopped the match right there, walked back, told the Andersons to meet him in the hallway. And everybody was going, what the fuck? Including Ole and Gene when he beat the shit out of both of them. Yeah, you didn't play around with Jack Mulligan, boys. He'd have a hard time getting along in the business now. I'll tell you another one. Jack Mulligan stories I could tell all day long. So when Lex Luger came into the business, right, and the business changed a lot. Jack was an agent for us here at WCW, and George Scott was the booker. And so Jack, 6'9", 320 pounds, he's wearing a suit. He's uncomfortable anyway. And boy, I said, and so Luger was working with Dutch Mantel. And Luger looked at Jack Mulligan and which Lex had a habit of doing, talking about himself in the third person. He looked at Mulligan and said, why would a Lex Luger wrestle a guy like Dutch Mantel? Mulligan took that Salem cigarette, like Harley used to do, and I thought, oh man, everybody in the locker room just waiting for Jack to get up and just beat the whole shit out of him. He just threw it on the floor, stepped on it, took off his coat and left and never came back. I looked at Luger and I said, should like you some bitch alive. What would a Lex Luger do? That didn't compute with Mulligan. Well, I got lots more.
Thank you, sir.
Nature Boy, it was such an honor to get to talk to you, some of the Walk of Fame. What I'd like to know today, What's your opinion on what Cody Rhodes and the guys were able to accomplish at All In last night?
Well, I just heard about it. It was great. First of all, I'm a big fan of Cody, so if you don't like Cody Rhodes, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm a big fan, yeah. And I think it's great. With him, he's always had so much talent and skill. And, I think he worked so hard at, trying to find that place with the WWE. And I'm sure he'll be back. He may never have to. He's making so much money now, working a lot less. Not that he's making more than he was there, but he's making a nice living. And I think that, we're not comparing them to WWE, but I think it's nice to see an independent promotion be run properly, where the guys are getting a good payoff. Because the card was loaded. They sold out 10,000 people, which is making a statement. And of course, Conrad, who will be my son-in-law soon, and he has taken that podcast thing. I thought for sure podcasts would be burnout. I did mine for about a year and a half. I couldn't stand doing it. It just didn't seem right, and then I wanted to have a couple of drinks, and then you say something that didn't go with the school. So. But I'm happy for Conrad, but I'm really happy for Cody, and I think it's really cool that he's wearing the NWA title. That speaks volumes for him, and he really loves the business, and he really believes that the NWA title was the title, and whether people want to admit it or not, it was. Yeah. Look at Lou Thez, Buddy Rogers, the Funks. No, forget about me. Thez, Buddy Rogers, Whipper Billy Watson, Gene Kiniski, the Funks, Jack Briscoe, Harley Race, me. That was a pretty good crew. Dusty. So, that day, you wanted that. If you were lucky enough to have that, you knew that you had arrived in the business. Because regardless of what WWF at that time was doing, if you were the NWA champion, you got off a plane in Japan, you got picked up in a limousine, you went downtown to talk to a room full of press like this. And then there are a lot of kids here, and they took you out to dinner and over to get a shower. A back rub to make sure you were loose for the next day.
Make some sandwiches.
Yeah. It was cool being the world champion, brother.
Thank you very much.
I'm talking about my childhood here, so I'm partially in the shit right now, but when I was a kid, that made me happy to do high rake.
What's that?
A good high rake.
Nothing made him happier than a good eye rake.
Oh, yeah, good.
Two ladies. First, before, what was that like when those four guys so closely? And the other one is, as a heel, the boos, the screams, the stuff like you said to you, did that just use speed off of that? Or was that like what made you go?
Well, I loved it, I loved the guys, the people being mad. That was just one less person you had to deal with in the airport. Especially bad guys don't sign, hit it. I still use it. Go to the airport, there's 20 kids, right? You've been out all night, there's 20 kids wanting your autograph, hit it. But, that's funny because that's how you want them to. You don't want them to like you. Nowadays, the guys are out there at the fences signing autographs. They want the people to move when they go in the arena. What the hell? You can't have the best of both worlds. Either you want to sell T-shirts or you want to draw money. Which you can do both now because the business has changed. But go back 20 years. It is. You want to sell T-shirts or you want to draw money. You want them to like you, or you want them to hate you. We love them to hate us. The reason the Horsemen got so popular It's because we were so damn good, they had no choice but to like us. And the women always liked it, just FYI. In case your wife didn't come home one night. James J.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bob. I'm from Orlando, Florida. And as a kid in the 70s, I used to go to a small video. It's called the Eddie Graham Sports Center.
Oh, yeah.
In Orlando. I was just wondering.
Sports Arena.
About that. It's a little metal building.
I hated that building. No, not the building. The crowd was just so damn hot. Friday or Sunday night in Orlando in the summer.
It was all.
In a tin building, 100 plus degrees, wrestling an hour. Tell me about it. I hated that venue. It was always sold out. I'm not talking about the crowd, but it was so hot wrestling. God, I did 30 beers after that. Really, I can remember losing 9-10 pounds in one night, wrestling an hour and 100. They talk about the football players getting cramps and shit, and the soccer players. Try wrestling an hour, non-stop, where there's no resting in a 103-degree building, indoors. So I got no time for the cramps. Sorry. The answer is drink more beer. Stay hydrated. Yes, my little princess.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could do a for my friend Parker. He's a very big fan of wrestling.
So say it one more time so I can hear you.
Can you do a move for my friend Parker?
For Emily Parker?
For her friend Parker.
Oh, of course, you have your phone on? Tell me when. Hey, Parker, it's a nature boy. I'm with your girlfriend right now. Woo!
Follow that.
Hey Rick, I've got a comment and then a question. My comment: the only line longer than the one for Space Mountain is the line of people who stayed here to see you today. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's funny you said that. I actually said to my wife driving over here, I said, who the hell is going to come all the way over here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? So I walked in here, because I had a bad attitude. I'm thinking there'd be 10 people here, right? So now I'm glad I came. So. And I thank you again, I'm saying that on behalf of myself, our business. Thank you for all the respect, guys. It means a lot to us, and we don't say it enough to you. So go ahead, ask me a good question, man. I'm ready.
I just want to get your general thoughts about the erosion of kayfabe in the time you've been tuned into the business, and whether you thought it really mattered or not.
Well, they proved to me it doesn't matter. So I sure thought it did, as did a lot of people, a lot of wrestlers.
It still does matter!
And the word doesn't exist anymore. The only person you can try to kayfabe now in life is your wife. Hey, mine's back there, and she speaks Carney, so I can't get away with it. I could tell you is going to meet me back in the resume for a half an hour. Yeah, there's no such thing as kayfabe, guys. Sorry.
Comment and question. Comment. You got to tell your friends Conrad and Atlanta his own Tony Schiavone, that they come to Dragon Con at some point. We would love to have a what happened.
Oh yeah, they're killing in Chicago right now.
No,
they're drinking right now. I think they're roasting Bruce Pritchard tonight. Isn't that the final thing? So yeah, they're having fun. I'm going to get a radio show just to tell stories about Shivani. Apparently, he tells a few about me, right? You don't believe that, do you?
The best way to get them here is to go in the app after this panel, rate it 5 stars, and put in the comments, we want Tony Schiavone and Conrad here next year. That's the best way to make it happen. Dragon Con looks at that stuff. And we want the Nature Boy back.
Generally, or most people know about a lot of your great opponents here, stateside, Steamboat Roads, Wyndham, etc. Who is your favorite Japanese opponent? You made a lot of trips to Japan, especially as a good champion.
My favorite Japanese opponent? Yeah. Wow, that'd be either Muda or the kid I just inducted.
Tatsumi Fujinami?
Huh?
Tatsumi Fujinami?
Yeah, Fujinami. Yeah, either Fujinami or Muda. I had to think for a second, I'm sorry. I like wrestling, with the tag mostly. It's been so long. But anyway, my 2 favorite Japanese opponents were Muda and Fujinami. Yeah, I liked wrestling Jumbo and Tenryu, but Tenryu was great, but Tsurugi just killed me. He was an Olympic wrestler, you know, and he had his way with me. I was just like a rag doll for him. I couldn't wait for them to ring that bell for an hour. So,
do you have any specific memories of matches with Muda or Fujinami?
No, I just what I liked about them the most, they understood American style. When I first started going over there, and they'd been going, probably 20 years prior to me, but I was still in the infancy when they had no psychology. It would just beat the living crap out of each other, and I couldn't adjust to that. It just, it didn't make any sense to what we did over here, and but they loved it. But it's changed now because the American guys got tired of going over. You're fighting, you make money, but you're fighting for your life. I mean, but now it's much more Americanized or westernized rather. And but it's a phenomenal place to go for every sport. They compete at the highest level. They're wonderful people to integrate with and have fun with, the Japanese. But it was really competitive when I started going, and I didn't look forward to it. And I had to go as a champion like once a month. When I had to wrestle with Tenryu and Tsurugi, those guys, because I wasn't like Harley Race. You want another locker room story? So I'm wrestling Jumbo Tsurugi, who was the 82 Olympian, and they get word over here that they want to switch the belt in Japan, all Japan, Giant Baba's group. And so Bob Geigel, the president, and they called me and said, hey, they're going to try and switch the belt. We're afraid, so we're sending a Harley Race with you to make sure they don't. How embarrassing is that? I had to have a bodyguard, so. And so anyway, long story short, Harley wrestled him the next night or something, and he suplexed Harley, unexpectedly. So we walked back in the locker room, and this was kayfabe, Japanese locker room, American guy's locker room. Harley walked in, he said, come here. He lights up a Marlboro, and he says, come here. I just knew we were in trouble, so he walks down, We walked probably 25 yards in the stadium. The Budokan's still there. Not a stadium, arena. And we walked in the locker room, and there's Bubba smoking his big white tan cigar, and old Japanese locker room. And Jumbo Tsuruta was like 6'4", maybe 260. It's sitting down there, you know, wiping off with a towel. The young boys wiping them off. That's the way they do over there. Harley walked up to me and said, "Did I tell you to suplex me?" After the bell rang. And Tsuruta knew he was in trouble, and he goes, no, like, you know, don't speak English, right? Harley goes, and he open hand slapped Jumbo Tsuruta. Hardly I've ever seen anybody get hit without getting knocked out. He said, if you ever suplex me again without asking my permission, I'll kill you right out there in the ring. Then Harley would not kill him, but hurt him. You know, which would end his career in Japan. Because everybody, you know, they thought Jumbo was it. In Harley racing world, he was just a little guy that thought he was tough. I got all kinds of locker stories. That couldn't happen now. That wouldn't happen in business now. The guy would be exiled. He'd be on the independent circuit the next day.
Yes, sir.
So, all the matches you've been, all the records, is anybody in particular stands out that changed your work the most? And was there anybody in particular who gave you a chance to have a match with that you look at a match with?
Who did you like working with the most, and who did you not get an opportunity to have a match with?
Let me see. I like working with everybody. Steamboat, obviously, my favorite. My three favorite were Steamboat. I can't say that because I'm leaving Harley out. Let me pick my top five. Steamboat, Sting, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, and Terry Funk. The only guy that I would love to wrestle right now, if I was in my prime, and I was a bad guy, would be I'd love to wrestle Roman Reigns. Yeah, I can make you guys cheer Roman.
My question is, why did you go back to the WCW night show? Because if you were in WWF, and why did you go back?
And stand back just a little bit further so I can do it again.
Why did you go back to WCW in the 90s? Because you are already in WWF.
Why did you leave WWF in the 90s to go back to WCW?
Oh, because in the 90s to go back, because Vince McMahon told me that he was going to start going with younger guys, and I was in my 40s at that time, and they wanted me back here, and I had a good contract, and my friends were back here, so that was it. Easy.
You're all right. You're all right.
I grew up with To Be the Man, You Got to Beat the Man. And when I was a little girl, I did not want to be the man. I wanted to be a princess. But when I became an athlete, my motto became, I want to be Ric Flair.
Wow.
So, since you are Ric Flair.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
15? Well, what sport do you play?
Soccer.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you like Ronaldo?
No.
You don't? Wow. You're the only woman alive that doesn't. Who's your favorite? Don't tell me Landon Donovan now.
No.
How about Julie Ertz?
I like Mia Hamm.
Oh, Mia, I know Mia. Yeah, that's a different generation, but yeah, I met Mia the year they won the Olympics with Hope Solo, not Hope Solo, with Brandon Chastain and all that group.
So my question is, I always wanted to fight like Ric Flair. So to you, what does it mean to fight like Ric Flair?
Fight like a what?
Just stay right where you are and just repeat it. Don't lean down to the mic. Just repeat it.
What does it mean to fight like Ric Flair?
What does it mean to fight like Ric Flair? That means be in the best condition you can possibly be in. You obviously have to put in extra time from your practice if your school allows that. By that I mean, training at home or training on the side. Even with my daughter, I can use an example. When she got done with practice, I had her go personal train. And asked me how she liked that. Or when she got bad grades and had to go to summer school. Too bad, she had to go train for 2 hours. So, and I think she's a great example of what, and this is why she is a role model in that respect. You only get out of it, like I'm going to use my stepdaughter back here who runs for Georgia. When she's home on the weekend, I'm changing from my daughter to my stepdaughter. She runs 9 miles a day when she's home, or when she's away from track practice. Okay, so I made my daughter come home. Not home. She went to a personal trainer, to a gym. But I think that everything you do that is extra are the things that make you better than your teammate, better than your opponent. It's not just the time you put in, it's required by the school, but it's the extra. And it's positive thinking. And finding something to laugh about every day. That's what my dad told me. You're too young to have to laugh.
That comment and a question. Hope you don't get mad at me, but my best friend got married this year, and he asked me, he's like, dude, when you come out, announcing the party and everything, he was like, I need you to come out like Ric Flair. So I kid you not, thank you for being in the business. I will tell you, people in this wedding will remember me for years, but they're like, nobody expected a guy to come out in tux with old school WCW belt, shades on, turn around. Woo!
Love that, man.
St. Louis area. So you have any fun memories of wrestling in the queue or any crazy stories about being on the east side of the river?
Oh, God. East St. Louis?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I got more stories about East St. Louis than I do the Keel. No, the Keel was a great building, 10,000 people, sold out every night. I wrestled Dick the Bruises there. That's going back. Brody, Harley, Gene Kaniski, Jack Briscoe. But if you were wrestling in the Keel, you were an elite wrestler in our business because everybody wanted to wrestle in St. Louis. They paid in cash and they paid good. And I used to take that money, go down to the landing until it closed, and I would go East St. Louis or the Marriott. Somehow that limo would just head over to East St. Louis. Oz and Pops. They're still there, oh yeah. I watched him take Bob Orton Jr. to Randy's dad to jail there one night. Bobby said, what are you going to do? I said, Bob, go to Marriott, man. I don't know about you. Told you not to tell that cop, but he didn't give me shit. Yeah. Bobby Orton Jr. wasn't afraid of anybody either, so, Hello, young lady. Okay. What makes a star in WWE?
Why did you want to start?
What did you say?
In WWE.
Say it one more time.
Why did you want to start wrestling in the WWE?
The WWE, why did I want to go there? Because I really wanted to go to the next level. And WWE was the place. They were clearly bigger than WCW with goals in mind of getting even bigger. And now they, in my estimation, they rule the sports entertainment world. I think that the NFL and the NBA and everybody else has taken so much of our stuff and applied it to their entertainment values that everybody can see that. And if you compare the two for magnitude and being spectacular in entertainment, WrestleMania to me is every bit as entertaining and probably more extravagantly prepared than the Super Bowl. Obviously, the football, I'm not saying that we're bigger because football fans are obviously, that's the biggest event of the year, supposedly, but WrestleMania, we get a lot of viewers and they make a lot of money. So, if the Super Bowl this year is projected to bring $180 million, that was my understanding, to Atlanta's economy, which is great. Last year in New Orleans, the WWE brought $70 million, or 80, I can't remember, to New Orleans. So we're not that far behind. And that's a lot of money dumped into the economy in 5 days.
Thank you.
And I wanted to make some of that money. Sorry.
Good afternoon. That was my daughter Sarah. Just wanted to leave a comment. I grew up as a wrestling fan, and I grew up watching you before she was watching you on the repeats on.
Where are you from?
Douglas, Georgia.
So you watched me beat up Thunderbolt?
Yes.
And Dusty?
Yes. And that was pretty common in our home growing up. And now you're pretty common in my home. My husband and I are big fans, and my daughter is about watching the WWE Network. We go to a lot of the matches. So I just wanted to say thank you and everyone within the arena for this kind of wrestling's kind of a common ground for us, and we can all be together. And that's one of the things we do as a family, just sit back and watch and enjoy. So
Thank you.
For all the work that you do.
Thank you. You can find me all over YouTube too. Thank God for the network to YouTube.
Nate, you look great.
Thank
so
you.
glad to have you back after the health scare.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. I just want to say on the Woo Nation podcast that you did,
Yeah.
the episode with Kevin Sullivan,
Yeah.
it was one of the funniest things.
Well, we drank for about 2 hours for that. I'm much more entertaining when I'm having a drink.
Well, I didn't know you had that history of Kevin too, and how much you've done with the booking.
How much fun? Yeah.
Could you,
Shorty.
Shorty, could you elaborate on any stories in it? Like with Shorty? Was that episode?
Not that I can tell. There's some children here.
This is family programming at the moment. Next year, if we can get the Nature Boy back, we'll do the late night.
From CNN to Houston to Rupert, Limelight, Yucatan, Gold Club, Hotel.
Well, I definitely recommend all adults in the room to check out that episode of Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm sure it was good. I don't remember it.
How about next year we do a late night panel? You just tell all the stories.
I can't drink. I can't drink. The doctor won't clear me. I think my wife said, if you ever tell me we can drink again, I'll never talk to you. So.
Yes, sir.
She got me on lockdown. Gatorade and Diet Coke, what a bunch of bullshit that is.
Hey, Nancy, how you doing?
Good, man.
Great to meet you, man. You're the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. And I have 2 questions. So the first question is, what's the most painful bump you've ever taken in the ring? And the second question is, what was going through your mind the first time Terry Funk tile driver you to a table?
Terry Funk what?
Tile driver you to a table.
Yeah, that, you know what? It would have been nice if you told me about it. He almost broke my neck. You're talking about Nashville. When I was wrestling Steamboat? Yeah, that's what started hardcore wrestling. We never get our due. Then everybody thought they could do that. You notice the table didn't break.
So I was wondering what was going through your mind when you like, you're about to do this crazy thing. Like,
Oh, I respected Terry. He said, come here, trust me, come on. Yeah. So he is crazy, trust me. Yeah. And what was the first question? Which bump do I hate the most?
Yeah, what was the most painful bump that you've ever
Well, I don't know what I hated power bombs from Nash. Yeah. Well, only because he was so tall. Yeah. But I don't remember. They're all the same. I don't remember more be painful. I just knew that I was up there. I didn't get slammed off the top or superplex. I knew how I was going to land with the power bomb. You only land as flat as the guy is willing to bend over a guy that tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I can't complain. I've been lucky.
best bumper you did?
Huh?
Best back bumper ever, right?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you. All right, this will be our last question for the day.
Hey, Nate. My dad told me a great story where he was partying with you in the early 90s in a club. And this guy comes up to you.
What club? What club?
It's out of Columbus, Georgia, Alpha's.
Where?
Alpha's in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, yeah. By the Sheraton Hotel. Okay, hey, well, I get it. If I know the name, I'll admit it. Alpha's. That's all there was to do on Wednesday night. Put up with all those.
You have a lot of stories back home there, Nate. So, but this one in particular is funny. My dad told me this big guy comes up to you, and you're there, and you're smashed, obviously.
Who, me?
But
you mean the big guy was smashed?
Have a great time, Nate. But this guy says, "Hey, you ain't nothing." So you stood up, you proceeded to knock this guy unconscious, and said, "Shots for everyone."
I'm probably lucky I didn't get my ass kicked.
My question is, do you think of any other stories where somebody was trying to try it out there in the real world?
Where people tried
Trying to
it?
test you. Yeah, trying to test you.
I don't remember anything past the 70s or mid-80s. That didn't happen. No, I don't remember. I don't remember that situation.
Yeah.
Because usually there's like 4 or 5 of us together, and no, someone's got to be on their mind to do that. That's a conversation they're not going to win. So we just follow them into the bathroom when they're least suspected. And we remind them that was not nice to ask or say.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it.
You always, if you say something smart to somebody, make sure you walk in the bathroom with somebody with you.
What better advice to end the panel on? Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the Nature Boy, Ric Flair!
Thank you very much, guys. Hey, Wendy, my wife told me to tell you all, walking back over to, what do we call it?
Marriott.
No, where you sign it? What do you call it?
The Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame. I'll be there for 2 more hours. You women out there, don't be afraid to come over and visit, eh?
I know I mention it all the time, but I'm never sure whether or not I should address the quality of live recordings, because obviously that now I'm proud of my little recorder. I think it did a very good job for what it had to deal with there. Some of the audience questions were very difficult to hear, as I'm sure you guys could tell. We made our way through. But it was still very interesting listening to Rick, and I think in a couple of instances where you maybe couldn't hear the audience members, you could infer what the question had been from Rick's stories. But whatever the case, I'm very proud to have this incredible and in places touching archive of his life story. I didn't expect it to get quite as emotional as it did when he was talking, about Reed. But I think it's important, and I will say that there's not a thing he said that I disagree with, but that's a conversation for another day. I hope you guys loved that. I hope it delivered what you were expecting. This was our most requested Dragon Con panel this year when I put the poll up on the Needless Things Podcast Facebook page, which, by the way, you should join if you have not already, and you get to do stuff like vote on which episode we get. Sometimes you get to vote on what we're going to do for a Needless commentary, and other neat stuff like that. Plus, all the pop culture news comes from all the Needless Things regulars each and every day-ish. Please visit needlessthingspodcast.com. It has been redesigned, streamlined, updated. I am looking into bringing some of the content from the old site over to the new site. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But that's all I got. That's all I got. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Needless Things Podcast. You're the best. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Downcast, or in the ears of a Trader Vic's employee. Love you. Mean it. Uh-huh.